And Mark Davis looks like a big thumb.
He does.
Like he's got like a bowl cut wig on his thumb.
That's a good one. You're jabroni. Hello, and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. Joining me today, I got Justin McGovern, Chad Bunt.
I gotta stop getting underneath you.
You really got to start just joining the call earlier.
Yeah, it's time. Whoever's
I
last
go as
ends up
fast
on
as I
bottom.
can, guys. I go as fast as I can.
Today we are going over our Mahomies and our Jabronis.
It's a jabroni.
Are you a Mahomie like Chad or a Jabroni like me? Let's find out.
Purest
Mahomies.
jabroni.
Our Mahomies, very nice.
Mm.
Jabronis, you're jabroni. We're just gonna go over a list of good and bad in the NFL. I will start us off. I got Joe Burrow as my Mahomie. His calf felt better last week, feels even better this week. Still not 100%, but looked a lot better in Arizona. It is Arizona, but I mean, at the end of the day, they've played a couple teams pretty well. And I think it's just an uphill trajectory for them. They're at the same record they were at this point last season. They'll probably turn it on in November, so rocky October, and then they'll start their rise again. But I think Burrow is going to be playing a lot better here on out.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign the way that he was able to move around the pocket and make plays happen. It's definitely going to allow the Bengals to compete with who, once again, is the favorite in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a little bit of a different Chiefs team than we're used to seeing. Obviously, Travis Kelce is still playing super well, and now he has a famous new girlfriend in Taylor Swift that is taking over the world. But really, hey, we gotta support them. You know, the Swifties are coming in, boosting the NFL ratings.
Love is love. Don't be her next album. Just do it right, Travis. Do it right.
But you know what? What's really helping the Chiefs this year are the things that aren't making the headlines. Pacheco is taking another step as running back, and that defense. Their defense has actually been playing super good all year long. So that's going to make them really dangerous. But yeah, Chad, what do you think?
My first Mahomie of the evening, I've got CJ Stroud. And I picked him because at draft time we were sitting here talking who's going to be the better quarterback going into the draft, and right now it's really looking like CJ Stroud is the best quarterback in this class. I don't think he's thrown an interception yet, right?
Right.
He's killing it. And the Texans were terrible last year, right? I mean, they had some.
Technically all those teams were terrible last year.
Yeah.
That is true. You're drafted a quarterback.
They give him a couple options at receiver. I mean, even a guy that he liked in the combine with Tank Dell. All these guys are coming together and playing really well. I like the Texans right now. CJ Stroud's playing great.
My other Mahomie is the better Swift Kelce combo. DeAndre Swift is killing it right now and running right behind the big fat butt, Jason Kelce. That offensive line is just mean. He's thick.
Slim Jim.
I mean, that offensive line is just probably one of the best in NFL history. I mean, it's hard to argue at this point.
Yeah, I wish they were in Cincinnati.
The brotherly push, or whatever they call it.
Brotherly shove.
Yeah.
Tush push.
Yeah, all those things.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. They're mastering that. Other teams are trying it and failing. So kind of it seems like it's going to stick around for a while just because nobody else can get it right.
Unless
they're even on NFL. Yeah, it's going to be talked about this offseason. But even on NFL Live, they had someone, I think it was Rex Ryan, getting down in a 4-point stance and lining everyone up, and it was like, this is how you beat it. It wasn't.
I'm glad I didn't see that.
I was just scrolling through Twitter and found it, and I was like, that seems like a waste of my time. But yeah, the better Swift Kelsey combo is my other Mahomie. Justin?
Yeah. So
Real quick,
mentioning
I
great
wanna
line play here. How about the Detroit Lions? Their offensive line has been absolutely
Motor
commanding.
City Dan Campbell of
Motor City
Detroit.
Dan Campbell has the boys playing. I mean, they have made David Montgomery look like an absolute star because he just
Really
has so
biting
much
off
room to
kneecaps,
run.
man.
And like the defensive line's dominant too. They wanted to build a hard, gritty team that is dominant up front, and that is exactly what they've done. I'm very impressed by it.
they're fun to watch.
Yeah, I just like watching how that team just owns up front. And I mean, not many teams even think about building that way, but they did. That
Still
was where they
surprising
started.
still surprising Aiden Hutchinson went second.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Fell into
that
their
was
lap though.
Yeah, lucky them.
Yeah.
My next Mahomie, I've got the Dolphins offense and their speed on offense. You want to talk about the team with like Tyreek Hill? What's this running backs? How do you say his name, Matt?
A-Chan.
Devin A. Chan, right?
Yep, confirmed A-Chan, not A-Chain.
Man is on fire. He's got fire for feet. He's
Man
just
is on IR.
yeah, well, he'll be back,
Alas.
but even then, they
Yeah.
still have like I was saying, they still have Raheem Mostert and they still have Jalen Waddle. I mean, this team is looking pretty dynamic on offense. And unless Tua gets us a block knocked off again or one of them gets hurt, I don't see any defenses really putting up a fight. It's gonna be I have to be a back and forth with that team.
I mean, the Bills were able to shut him down. They got the formula going, but
Yeah,
everyone
but
else.
then the Bills lost this past weekend to the Jaguars. So
And lost half our defense, but
yeah.
we're not talking about the Bills here.
My third and final Mahomie of the day is Puka Nakua.
Yeah.
He's had a great beginning of the season so far. Cooper Kupp came in and then his production went down a little bit, but he's still a touchdown. With sending Van Jefferson away, it's pretty clear that Puka is still going to remain in a hefty role. They'll probably just have Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp run drag routes passing each other, and they're like waving, like, "Hey, if you get the ball, then keep running. If not, then I'll get the ball and keep running. We're good." But yeah, he's killing it, and whether Matthew Stafford's going to be there much longer or not, I think he's going to have a pretty good career.
Yeah, the Rams look like they could potentially make the playoffs again this year. Now, winning the division, on the other hand, not going to happen. And that is because the San Francisco 49ers have been killing it. Their defense has been awesome. But how about Brock Purdy? It's actually been impressive what he's done. Now, obviously, people may say, if he was on a different team, he may not be successful. And you know what? They might be right. But I also don't know how many quarterbacks in the NFL will be able to succeed in Shanahan's system and have as much of his trust as Brock Purdy does. The reads
and nobody in the NFL gets paid as little as that guy.
As little, yes. I mean, they chronicled, like obviously say what you might about Sunday Night Football and Chris Collinsworth and stuff, but they actually did a pretty good job chronicling like what Purdy has done for this offense and just like the reads he's able to make, how quickly he can do them, and like it is kind of surprising how in control he is because if you followed him in college, he made some of the wildest turnovers of all time. But he's been awesome in the NFL. Like he's just doing everything right and everything that you can ask of him, and just taking advantage of all these weapons they have around him.
I think it comes down to coaching because if you look at him in college versus the NFL, I mean, he's a completely different player. Like he showed flashes of what he is now in college, but play calling by Shanahan has been electric. And then having the skill players around him, being able to pay them the big bucks to go get touchdowns, it's like a dream team for them.
Yeah, you got to play to your strengths, and they talk about a team with weapons. I know you mentioned Brock Purdy there, but I think the real strength, and this is my third Mahomie here, Christian McCaffrey. I think the man is carrying the world on his back right now. He is establishing that offense. First of all, the man's healthy. Finally, we thought a couple years there in Carolina where he couldn't stay healthy, didn't know if he could keep going. The man is on fire. Although you could
production, like his role in the offense by percent has been decreased in San Fran versus in
The
Carolina.
amount he's
But
having
yet,
to do.
but his actual production has increased.
Right.
Yeah.
Man's
I mean,
healthy, you know?
Right. He's healthy. He's not relied on to be the entire offense. He's the star of that offense, but he doesn't have to be the entire offense.
And I know it doesn't, relate to real life, but in fantasy, I think he's like carrying people. I think he's the most points so far by a player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Maybe wrong now with a big
if you got
weekend.
McCaffrey in your fantasy draft, you're pretty much guaranteed to make the playoffs unless you're really, really bad.
Yeah.
Who has the most fantasy points in a season? Is that Vic? Is that still
No,
Vic?
it's got to be. Who was it? It was the
Lamar?
Chiefs running back.
Jamal Charles?
No, way back. Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes?
Yeah. Because I thought there
I
was
thought
like a
Vic.
season where Priest Holmes just was a fantasy monster.
I'm looking it up.
Priest Holmes.
Yeah, I remember there was like a season where like everyone had to get Priest Holmes because
He was on the
LaDainian
Chiefs.
Tomlinson.
Yeah.
yeah,
LT
the
was a
touchdown
dog.
season.
Yeah,
LT
and then
was a
Christian
dog.
McCaffrey actually has the second in 2019. So he very well could be up there again.
Yeah, I mean he's really on fire, man. He's peaking.
Yeah.
And that kind of segues me into my first jabroni.
Dangle jabronis.
The 49ers schedule.
Dangle
49ers
jabroni.
The 49ers schedule is just terrible. Yeah, they played the Cowboys, but I mean, it seems like in big games the Cowboys always choke. So, and then I think the Bengals are the next best team they play until they play the Eagles at the end of the season. I mean, going back to the first game, the Steelers, they don't really have much of an offense. Rams, they kicked a field goal just to screw everybody over and betting. Giants suck, Cardinals suck, Cowboys. A lot of us saw that game. That was a bad game.
Yeah.
Browns, Vikings, Bengals, Jaguars, Bucks, Seahawks, Eagles, Seahawks, Cardinals, Ravens, Commanders, Rams.
A whole lot of birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
a bunch of birds.
But that's one of the easiest schedules in the NFL that I've seen in a long time. Like, will they beat the Eagles? Probably not, but that may be their first loss if Joe Burrow doesn't hand it to them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple teams you can't really like the Ravens. You can't sleep on, but that's a little bit.
I mean, they're going to get God.
You can sleep on their receivers. I would tell you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, mentioning birds and receivers, I'm going to talk about my next jabroni, Artie Smith, and how he uses his skill players. I just don't understand it. Like, I mean, they're actually doing pretty solid.
Oh man.
I feel like they could do even better if they utilize their more talented players better. Like, why is Tyler Algier carrying the ball more often than Bijan Robinson? Bijan is averaging more yards after contact than Algier is averaging yards per carry. I mean, he is just making plays. Give that guy the ball more, even if it's passing the ball to him. Just do something. In the passing game as well.
They did trade for Van Jefferson, so that should add some speed on the outside.
Yeah,
and they got Drake London.
If they use them right, because I mean, they haven't been passing the ball to Drake London enough,
not passing
the ball to Kyle Pitts enough. Why are you throwing it to another tight end more than Kyle Pitts? It makes no sense. Make it make sense, guys.
I think Desmond Ridder personally, I love that he came from UC, but I think he's a college quarterback.
I mean, he put up 351 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
He had a good performance.
He'll have a couple of good games, but do you think he's here to last?
Probably not 10 years, but he'll probably be around 5 to 7. And then be a backup after that. I think he's better than Marcus Mariota if you would compare timelines.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me of a guy, maybe even like under the right scenario, he could I mean, like this year, for example, is actually a pretty good scenario because the NFC South sucks. Um,
It's always a good
he could get the
scenario.
team. He could get the team to the playoffs, but I don't think he can win in the playoffs.
I think he has a lot to learn, but with him being so young and with how he carries himself, like Artie Smith said that he is one of the most incredible leaders that he has coached in a long time. And he's like a second year player.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like
no
that's just
doubt though.
you just
The
don't hear
leadership
that often.
the leadership thing does not surprise me because the dude was like a 4-year starter in college. When you're a 4-year starter in college, usually you come out of it a pretty good leader. Which I mean that's a testament to it. And obviously under Luke Fickell's program, you're gonna turn out some pretty good leaders out of that team. And I mean he brought them to new heights, so that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, we can stop talking about the Falcons. Chad.
Ah, whole lot of birds, boys.
Do you have another bird?
Yeah, no, I got a guy out in Las Vegas named Jabroni Garoppolo. Thought this was his last chance, going out to Vegas, new opportunities. Got Devontae Adams, got Hunter Renfro, he's got Jacoby Myers, and he's got a host of tight ends. But he's not using any of them. He hasn't played well when he is playing, and he hasn't been healthy, the other times.
I would say I would piggyback off of that and say Josh McDaniels.
Yeah,
I pick on Josh McDaniels probably every other video that we post, but like that guy as a head coach is just terrible. He's like a long-term. He's a long-term offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and this is what we end up talking about the Raiders every single time. It always comes back to Josh McDaniels. Like, I mean, their play calling on Monday was just absolutely stupid. Like, 3rd and 1, they go and run like some long developing end around with Jacoby Myers that makes no sense at all. Yeah, at one point, I think you could see Mark Davis up in the booth getting pissed off at the play calling. It was so bad. And
you could see Al Davis rolling over his grave
afterwards for 3 hours.
Mark Davis looks like a big thumb. Like he's got like a bowl cut wig on his thumb.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole team, they have like talent on that team, right? I mean, what's his name? Michael Mayer, Josh Jacobs, and like I said,
that dude from UC.
I mean, Hunter Renfro. Why isn't he being used? Why are you not throwing it? He's got to be open some point,
Yeah, like why are you throwing it to him one time a game?
Yeah, and I'm not understanding it. And they really haven't.
Trey Tucker's not getting the ball either.
No, to be fair, Trey Tucker did get like 20 yards and then around immediately got hurt, so that might be part of it.
But like, what about Devontae Adams? I mean, has he really done that much this year? I know he had at least one good game, right?
Yeah, he had a good game a few weeks ago. I mean, it's always been the same thing ever since Josh McDaniels got there. Like Devontae Adams can sometimes like go off in the first quarter and then they'll forget about him the rest of the game.
I mean, do you say screw it and you go
Aiden O'Connell start? If he wins you one game, put Jimmy G back in and tank for Caleb because you know that Caleb wants to go to the Raiders.
Right. Right. That's what I was about to say. Is this the tank for Caleb show really? I mean, I know the Bears technically hold first. Do they still after winning?
The first. Yeah, they still have it at the moment. Yeah.
So like, would they take Caleb Williams? Would they take Caleb Williams? I don't know. But I know the Bears or the Raiders could get to that pick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're in contention.
Yeah, they could.
Speaking of someone who could possibly be in contention, despite giving their quarterback $43 million a year. Wow. Yeah. The Giants' offensive line is my next jabroni.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Their offensive line is just terrible. I sent you guys a graphic earlier today. And it showed the sacks that Andrew Luck had versus Daniel Jones. Career games, Andrew Luck 86, Daniel Jones 59. Sacks taken, Andrew Luck 174, Daniel Jones 177. So in a little less than 30 games, fewer than Andrew Luck, he's been sacked one more time than him in his career. So it's like that offensive line is terrible. I can guarantee you that because they've already said that they want to sign, they want to take a look at La'el Collins, see if he's healthy enough. Um, if I'm Dable, I do not let him leave that building without a contract.
Yeah.
He's big enough. He'll block a doorway. You can block a doorway.
and
Not let him leave and been like, we'll give you any amount of money to not have our quarterback sacked.
They got to figure that out.
It has just been so painful. Like, I mean, really, it was painful like the first like 2 times the Giants were in prime time, and at that point, I already started tuning them out every single time they showed up in prime time. Like, okay, and that was my next one. Why? Like, of all teams to go all in on prime time at the beginning of the year, like I understand you want to kind of backload some of these, Bengals and Chiefs games and Eagles games at the end of the year. I get that, but why the hell are the Giants in prime time like 4 of the first 5 weeks? Like,
it doesn't matter.
There was so
they're making money.
you could see this happening from like a mile away, where they could be so bad, and it's just absolutely terrible every time they show up. I'm at the point where I just tune it out. I'd rather do anything else or watch anything else than watch the freaking Giants play again. They're so bad.
It's been pretty rough to watch them. Another team that's been pretty rough to watch, the Bears.
Oh yeah.
And I don't really put it on the team. Everybody at first was on Justin Fields, and getting rid of him. I know I mentioned them having the first 2 picks right now, but I don't think it's Justin Fields' fault. They win a game, now all of a sudden they're talking about how he's like the top leader in like passing yards and touchdowns, is whatever. I really think it comes down to like the coaching, and I think it comes down to the front office. I think what's his name? Ryan Poles. He's made some really bad decisions. I love that he got him DJ Moore, and I think that was worth the draft pick. But get the man an offensive line. Build a team that's going to work with your quarterback. You got a franchise quarterback. You know what his talents are. Don't try and force him to be anything than what he is. He was very successful at Ohio State, being himself and playing a style of game that was suited for him. So why not develop something based like that? That
right.
Use the talent you have. Don't try and make them something else.
They got a lot of work to do on that defense too.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to
the whole thing is a work in progress because they had to tear down from the Khalil Mack trade and all that. Yeah.
And it's like you hate to lose guys like that because I mean they were super productive guys, but they just don't have the market.
Maybe the new stadium might change things.
Yeah, I call them the Browns of Midway, because it's just like bad decision after bad decision,
Well, that really, speaking of the Browns moving to the AFC North, my final jabroni is Zach Taylor. Your play calling sucks.
Yeah, dude. Why aren't you going like tush push on 3rd and 1? What are you doing, dude?
I mean, the first game against the Browns, you knew Joe Burrow wasn't 100%. You knew the weather was going to be terrible. Why not give Jake Browning a shot in that game? More than likely, he was probably going to do about the same thing that Joe Burrow was going to do anyway, but could go under center and drop back. Gives Joe Burrow another week to sit, review more film, get ready for the following week. And there was a play, I heard a rumor that Joe Burrow actually shook off Zach Taylor on one of the plays and ended up being a touchdown. Just give Joe Burrow play calling abilities. Let him call the plays.
Or just let somebody else do it,
Yeah.
Because it's
Brian
painful.
Callahan.
You were talking about the Browns game. Like, I noticed they weren't running the ball. I don't know how many times Mixon got the ball, but I've noticed that when they were on offense, they were throwing it. And they weren't throwing like little dumps or anything like that. If they were, it was 3, 4, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. But if they were throwing it, they were throwing like 20, 30 yards downfield. And in a game where you're getting dumped on and torrential downpour,
dog walks.
You can't be throwing the ball around like that. You got to protect the ball, run it, especially when your quarterback's hurt. Give Mixon 25, 30 carries.
You have 3 running backs behind
Just let him run
Joe
it.
Mixon too. Like you have Travion Williams, who is a big, stocky guy who could bruise some people up the middle. You have what is the name? Chase Brown, that you just drafted. You want to get a look at him. And who's that dude from Michigan that they drafted a couple years ago? Chris Evans. You need to take a look at him to see if you want to give him a contract or not. You're not going to just have him be a special teamer. You're going to probably want to take a look at him as a running back too.
And then,
each of them could have had 10, 15 carries, and they could have ran the clock out.
The kind of play calling that's been going on is the reason why T. Higgins is hurt right now. He's got a fractured rib because you're making bad decisions. You're putting your players in vulnerable positions, and they're getting hit real hard. I mean, that offensive line, they've spent how much on Orlando Brown? $75 million.
Yeah,
something like that. The man is not doing that great of a job. Personally, I see him get beat a lot.
Not as much as Jonah Williams.
Right, and I think that's it is a plus, but it's just like you guys have invested this much in the line. At this point, you got Kappa, you got what's the center's name?
Harris.
Harris. Yeah. And Volson, you spent a pretty high draft pick on him. At what point are you going to start performing? And
I think this actually plays to what you were talking about, because sometimes it just gets so pass heavy. Those defensive linemen can just put their ears back and just charge ahead of Burrow.
Right. You have to run the ball.
Burrow is a sitting duck. Add some unpredictability to it by running it more.
Got to establish the
run. Not even just unpredictability. They could see a run coming a mile away, but you got to keep those offensive linemen aggressive. If you're just passing them the whole game, they're just back up.
They have to back and trying to stop people. That's a difficult job. It is not easy.
Have them put their knuckles into the ground and throw some 300-pound fat guys into the ground.
Yeah. Do some dirty work, boys.
Yeah. Get it together, Zach Taylor, you jabroni.
Yeah, or let somebody else call the plays, man.
Yeah.
We're done talking about that. Mentioning a coordinator who also is a jabroni, Vance Joseph is not having a good time.
Why is he still
shout out to Sergio Dip.
Honestly, I don't even understand. I don't know what he's doing. I've intentionally not watched the Broncos game this year because they're so bad. But what did he do to this defense? This defense was dominant last year. This defense was so good. The Broncos are a playoff team. They could just average 18 points a game. Now this year, their defense is just getting torched every single week. If you want someone in fantasy football that's going to do good for you, pick someone that is going up against the Broncos defense, because everyone looks great against them. It's crazy how bad they are. I don't know what Vance Joseph did, but he has ruined this defense.
Ruined.
The price they had to pay to get Peyton Manning. It's a curse. The Giants and the Broncos. I'm just saying. You can even construe it to the Colts. Maybe it's the Manning curse. But that brings
to a certain extent the Chargers, because Eli said, "I'm not going there."
Yeah, not in San Diego. I don't know. I like San Diego, man. Back then, I bet it was a fun place.
I know, but they never won a Super Bowl. He won 2 of them. He made the right decision.
Yeah, he was right. But that leads me to my next jabroni. The Colts handling of injuries, the handling of Jonathan Taylor. I think since this whole Jonathan Taylor stuff came out, their focus has been shifted, and they have not been focusing on good football. I'm glad they finally paid him, but I mean, at what point do you trade him now? Because he doesn't want to be there, even though he's getting paid.
There had to have been multiple conversations, because you don't go from Jim Irsay sitting on a plane with you, and both sides want you gone. You want out, and Jim Irsay wants you out, to going on IR, to coming back, and then all of a sudden you have a contract and everything's fine. Somewhere down the line, they had to have some kind of conversation that kind of patch things up to the point where they can be business professional.
Yeah. The
I
timing
mean,
of it doesn't really
makes sense.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden now he has a new contract, and at the same time, Zach Moss is randomly actually playing really good for them.
Yeah, but and my other point was the handling of injuries on this team. I mean, look at Anthony Richardson. He's been injured twice now. Now he's on the injured reserve. And
Actually, I'm
AC
pretty sure
joint
he's gotten
sprain.
hurt. He's gotten hurt every single game he's played.
you
Was it
can't
the same shoulder each time?
I think it's been something different each
Oh.
time.
You
Because one of
can't
them was a
just
concussion, and
your first round pick. I mean, all draft picks are investment, but your first round pick is a huge investment for your team, and you can't be putting your first round quarterback that is supposed to be the future of your team in a position like that. I mean, all these teams, the Bengals, I would say the Bills too. All these guys let their quarterbacks take hit. The Giants, even Jacksonville. You can't let your quarterbacks get hit all the time, man. And especially if they're going to, you might as well bench them. Might as well bench them, save for when you have an offensive line.
Well, they need to have somebody come in that's been sacked a lot, that knows how to hit the ground. Dan Orlovsky is just at ESPN in Bristol. He can take a flight to Indy, hit up Pat McAfee show, and then scoot on over to the Colts facility and teach Anthony Richardson how to hit the deck when he's getting hit, because that was kind of unavoidable.
Hey, he can take jujitsu like Tua did.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of defensive linemen and offensive linemen take ballet, so they're better on their feet. There's got to be something that Anthony Richardson can do, and it goes back to Jim Irsay. Jim needs to front some money to see if he could try to find a way to teach this guy something new that he doesn't already know that can keep him healthy in the NFL. Whether it's TB12 or what, that seemed to be working for a bunch of people.
I mean, Deshaun Watson's getting massages, so I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Man,
figure it out,
guys. To get this back in here.
Well, I mean, how much are they paying him a game, guys?
Too much.
And they got Dorian Thompson-Robinson last week, and now it's PJ Walker. I heard.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Their offense is hurting without Nick Chubb.
Their offense is hurting without a lot of things.
Yeah.
Conklin, right?
What?
Conklin's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Njoku had a kitchen accident and I guess played through it, but still not great.
Yeah, I wouldn't be burned up like that.
We got 7 minutes. Any nominees for
Jabroni of the week?
You could do Jabroni of the week. We could
My
do
Jabroni of the week is fucking Justin. I'm going to pardon my language, but his top 25 poll, I felt a little forced on. Kansas State. What the hell, Justin?
Yeah.
Hey, we learned some.
This guy and I did not want Kansas State in that poll. We both voted against it. You overranked them on purpose, and they got blown out. The team that beat them got blown out.
They got blown out like Kim Kardashian with Ray J.
Now, to be fair, they did not get blown out. They just
and Clemson, you had them ranked 24th. You're the Jabroni of the week.
Jabroni.
That hurt my voice box, actually. Maybe I'm the Jabroni of next week.
Yeah, you shit together, guys.
Well, I think anybody else got anything different except for excuses from Justin?
No, this is just going to keep going downhill.
You guys want to rank biscuits?
Yeah, let's rank
6
biscuits.
minutes of biscuits. The ultimate biscuit challenge.
Matt never did get the blueberry biscuit. We have not.
Maybe I
had my daughter with me. I was under pressure. I was on the road.
It's unacceptable. It's
got food poisoning anyway.
I don't even know what it's called. The blueberry biscuit thing from Bojangles.
Bojangles? Shit.
Gotta go so far south for us to get Bojangles.
We are not sponsored by them, by the way.
We don't have any sponsors. This is completely
biscuits.
This is completely out of pocket. I do think Bojangles has better chicken than Zaxby's, and I previously had thought Zaxby's had better chicken.
Okay, well then we need to rank all the chicken places here. We got Bojangles, Zaxby's, Cane's, the Colonel, KFC, Church's Chicken in there.
Popeyes.
I think Church's
He-
biscuits might actually be the best biscuits out
I
there.
don't know. Popeye's biscuits are pretty good though. Have you
They're
had
pretty
them?
damn
those
good. But have
Popeyes
you had?
biscuits are good.
It's been a long
Go
time.
to
since I've been there.
Michigan, find yourself a Church's, get some biscuits.
Is it really in Michigan?
Matt,
I was
you're-
wondering
Yeah,
where
there's
they
like
were.
one in Toledo, but I think it's mainly in Michigan.
Matt, you're not gonna sit here and tell me to go get biscuits when you didn't get the blueberry biscuit.
You gave me 45 seconds to make a decision. I was already
it's
in
just a
line.
biscuit. It's just a biscuit. Oh,
It's not.
I'm sorry.
Apparently,
I
it's
know-
not just a biscuit.
I'm sorry. I know I ordered, but do you think maybe I could add a couple of those blueberry delicious biscuit bitches?
I was on the spot. I was by myself with my daughter, who was wanting everything
She
from
would love the
Bojangles.
blueberry biscuit. She'd be so happy you did this.
Yeah.
Best decision you would have ever made was have a blueberry biscuit.
All right, so we did about 2 minutes of biscuit and chicken talk.
Almost three, man.
Tune in next
And-
week for our ranking of ribs.
Oh, no.
There we go.
What up, ribs?
Everybody's gonna be like Montgomery in, and I'm gonna be ashamed.
No. It's only a regional thing.
I am in real life a chef, so these are serious debates here.
Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends about us, share us all over the internet. We need to
Go to
make more money.
Bojangles. Get
Yeah,
a
go to
blueberry.
Bojangles. Out of
Also,
pocket,
tell
go to
us-
Bojangles.
Tell us to stop talking about chicken and biscuits if you're hungry.
If you want to see an end of the if you made it this far, props to you. If you want to see random rankings of nothing sports related, just food related, let us know. We will
Yep.
rank them.
Yeah, we could do a lot
Yeah.
of things like that.
Yeah, we
I've
got
got
time
the-
on our hands. Apparently, we've been
got all
talking
the
about
experience
nonsense
we
for
can
like
about.
5 minutes now.
Seriously, props to anyone that they made it this far.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
you are the real MVPs. We're out. See ya.
See ya.